Well, hello everyone. How are you doing? Yeah, I know I'm a few minutes early. It's like, oh, I thought I heard the dinner bell. So how are you? How you doing? Beautiful day out here in beautiful Colorado. Hope you're doing well. Welcome everyone. Good to see you. I know you got a lot of choices that you can go to and places that you can be. And so thank you for being here with me. Wow, that's almost poetry. Hello, everyone. Hello, Lois, Warrior Queen. Queen, how are you doing, my dear? You need to put up your PayPal thing so we can let people continue to donate to your pantry. Great Scott, Eric, how you doing? Chris, Jama, how you doing? Ricky, good to see you. RO93R, good to see you, my friend. Claire, how you doing? Heidi, Higher Realms, good to see you as well. Robert, good Lord. Barry, Merritt, Claire, Slightly Slanted Truth, Steve, good to see you. How are y'all? Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope your day is going good. And as we get started going in here, just want to invoke favor upon your life. It's like anything else, folks. You plant a seed, we're all looking forward to spring. And us gardeners, it's like, all right, let's get the earth getting warm here. And when we plant a seed or a plant, like tomato plants, I love tomatoes. And whether you plant whatever it is, there is a cycle to that seed. And you know that you're going to see evidence of that cycle in that cycle period by growth. And hey, Kenneth, how you doing, my friend? And Tammy, good to see you. And so, come fall, you're going to have a harvest. So every day is why I sow a seed into your life. I invoke favor and full restoration in your life, that there be nothing missing, nothing broken. And as far as many different proverbs, there is a seed time and a harvest time. So we start sending each other favor. We're planting not only favor into those lives that we're speaking into, but you're planting favor into your life. And there will be a harvest. So there you go. Hello, Brad. How are you doing? I5La, how are you doing? Good to see you. Edgar, hello. BW, good to see you. Jerry, how you doing? So real quick, Patrick is still not feeling well. I think he's got the flu. And, let's send him right now. Let's just all stop what we're doing. And let's just focus that gentle man that, I don't know about you, but you can't help it just not like the guy. So let's just stop and think of Patrick Garrett right now. And let's just send him some healing. His body needs healing. And I don't know if y'all know this, but when your body becomes really sick, bacterial, viral, whatever it may be, your spirit has to divert energy of itself to the body. And many times when illnesses become greater than the energy that the spirit has the ability to heal, it's when they need our energy. And I believe that distant healing does in fact take place. I am a person who is walking in that. And I believe that we've got a lot of psychic healers in here. I mean, seriously, folks, we're going to have a Friday night. I'm thinking maybe next Friday night, an invite to, I know some people have already wanted to come forward, and let's do Friday night healing. Let's do the old-fashioned kind. You know what? I used to do it in the religious circles, seen it work many times. And it wasn't believing in a God or a name. It's been done since the very beginning of time, as we know it, in this genus of species that we are. So we can heal each other. And unfortunately, so many of us have lost that. We think that, you know, it's only reserved for gods. No. The old expression, heal thyself. And you really can. So we just say, Patrick, we're just sending healing to you, man. Man, when your body is hurting. You know, when I contracted meningitis, whew, I'll never forget that. I'd already had Lyme disease, didn't know it at the time. And I was out in Las Vegas. I was doing a trade show out there, VSDA, Video Software Dealers Association, way back in the day. And it was really odd. We had a full agenda, and it was in Las Vegas in the middle of, actually, it was the 1st of August, hotter than hell. And I remember waking up one morning and I had this terrible stiff neck, just on one side. I believe it was on my left side, and was starting to feel drained and not feeling good at all. But our schedule was so full, you know, there were meetings that had to be done. Now, here I am walking with meningitis, spinal meningitis. Not knowing it. Went to bed that night. We were staying at the, where were we staying at? I'll think of it here in a second. I think it was Paradise. Plantation, that's where it was. And woke up the next morning and my right side of my neck hurt stiff. And I remember we were at a event where they had this motion ride. They were, I don't know, boy, that was not a fun experience. So anyway, I'll finish up on this. We were at we were going to have dinner that night at Hugo Cellar. If you ever go to Las Vegas, I highly recommend Hugo Cellar. One of the best restaurants in Las Vegas. It's actually where the Rat Pack used to go, and many of the back in the day stars. Great food, by the way. And we were sitting, we were waiting. We were upstairs in the Four Queens. I remember that. Playing craps of all things. And this fugue came over me. Never forget it. That feeling, if it could be the equivalency to a spiritual experience, it would be close about as like feeling death. I think that's what death feels like, because that's what I felt like. Anyway, long story short, went back to the hotel and barely made it back to Knoxville and fell into a coma. And anyway, so Patrick, going to good. Boy, I told you all that. Yeah, like all of you wanted to hear that story. Anyway, it happens. So we're going to send some healing energy to Patrick. Tonight, I will be on our Brian's channel, Milky Way Weekly, at 10 o'clock Eastern. So looking forward to that. Brian is a delightful individual. And thank you, Brian. Thank you to all the moderators too, by the way. Boy, I'm filling up fast in here, aren't we? So cheers to everyone. So cutting cords. By the way, I want to acknowledge the emails. Y'all send me a lot of emails. Jeff, my friend, got a lot of truck drivers out there. They listen to me. They listen to you all. A lot of them read your comments, and you know, we have a wonderful community here, folks. Diverse, I'm telling you. So Jeff got your email. Leanne got your email. Just wanted to acknowledge that to you as well. Lisa as well. So there you go. Lots going on. It's really interesting what I see taking place. And you're seeing it too. We're all living this thing. I just put this out here. I contend the event isn't coming, folks. It's already happening. It is. And I think it's going to get weirder and stranger. And I think you're going to have bouts of disorientation. You're going to feel dizzy at times. You're going to have experiences of kind of feeling unbalanced. Just get used to it. It's going to, I think, increase. There is things going on. And as this 5G force field gets fully in place, and that's what it is. I'll just be the first one to say it. It will probably be picked up, and within 6 months, I hope everyone is talking about it. But this 5G is a force field against us. Now, you can give me all the technical, bibble babble of what it's doing for us. Listen, we don't need that much information. The day is here where we realize there's a part of our species, folks, I'm talking about those who are the ones enforcing this force field against us. We don't have a choice about it anymore. I see people say all the time, I do not consent. Fine. Doesn't matter. You're in it, baby. It's everywhere. And as the candle switches go on, and more of them are, the next 2 years, the net will be everywhere, this force field. There's not an option for us to opt out. Do you know one? I mean, when you're walking around in it, immersed in it, where do you opt out at? I haven't found that. And gone are the days. Here's what's happened, folks. In the last 5 years, 60 months, there's no place to go now. You see people who go off grid, go out into the most remote places on the planet. They used to be able to get away. Not no more. Remember the story I told you about? It's going to pop up, trust me, in other channels. Others will begin to talk about it. 20,000 satellites. Our government, FTC, NASA, FAA, has given them unprecedented license to do these flights. Rockets. 20,000 low and high orbit satellites, all for 5G, all of them beaming down microwave radiation. And there's no place to go. Underground, I think that's the only place to escape from. And I don't know that many of us who have underground dwellings. Yeah. This is real, folks. I watch the news. I scan the headlines. I don't immerse myself into it. And, it's like kind of skimming the ground. And you're seeing more and more instances of people freaking out. Normal people. In every shape, form, and fashion, good citizens, mothers, fathers, professionals, suddenly freaking out. They don't know why. Freaking out. Imagine this. What's happening? Something's happening, folks. And I wish our politicians were immune from this. They're not. I really thought that they would have the savvy and the know-with-all, since they approve these budgets, that they would have protection for themselves. They don't. And folks, it's going to get stranger. Hear me on this. We're in territory where we have never gone before. Now, those who have a different view would argue it's advancement in technology. We live in an age where it's data-driven, and the current infrastructure is no longer capable to handle the amount of information needed to exist in our society. I get it. Well, the time I made a lot of money in JDUS Uniphase, Redback networks. Man, those were fun days, folks. That's the days when investing was fun. But any case, but we never stopped and thought about it. We never stopped and thought about what was going on here. Our brains are electromagnetic organs. Our eyes. Reality is predicated on two foundations, 2 and 3. 3, chemical, 2, electrical. And when you combine those, you get consciousness, in essence. So now we've got this thing that's using the same frequencies that we know of. We know this. It's not conspiracy theory. It's just a fact that these frequencies have been used in mind control. Some contend that we're not even in the same reality anymore. There are some, and even in the science world, that believe that we very well changed. Some say that the human body itself is changing. Some contend that our organs are not where they used to be. Who knows? I know this, it's getting weird. So, cutting the cord. A lot of you write me and want to know how I got, the pineal gland operating again. You can do it too. You just have to be very careful about what we eat. No fluoride. You need to be using natural toothpaste. You need to get away from anything that has fluoride in it. And regrettably, too many of the modern, overprescribed prescriptions that deal with diabetes, high blood pressure, other things of this, unfortunately, those compounds have a little side effect that they kind of do the same thing as the calcification of what the fluoride did. You can go back and do a study on this. Anyone can do this. And when you begin to look at how our species interacted with psychic capabilities, they were given to us. A spirit can't enter into this body and strip itself of its psychic component of what it is. That's what we say is psychic, but that's how the spirit communicates. This is how the body communicates. You make love to a person, you're speaking. You get into an argument with someone, your body is speaking. Yeah. And then when you get the soul involved, that's when people trip over the line and go out of control. So when you look at this, the ability, you see, the future, no matter how you want to look at it, is in one way or another already set in a boundary. And if you're still living, then you will be a part of that future, because that future will have you involved, which then makes it an event. So when we think about things as the third eye, does it exist? Doesn't? Yeah. Listen, our ancestors, they had the use of that. And I wanted to pull up something for everyone, because I think in a lot of ways, this is what's happening to many of you, many of me. We're all kind of experiencing it. So I found this article, and I thought it would be interesting for us. It's got learning-mind.com. 10 signs the third eye opening and practical ways to start it. Cool article. Gotta admit this, folks. So let's get down to here. We all know what happens when certain activations begin to take place in what I call in the spirit awakening. You begin to understand, the triune being that we are. It's complex, but yet it's beautiful. It's perfect symmetry, and it is in complete uniformity with the laws of this universe. It's a great thing about living in these bodies. And I think that's why so much in the spirit realm are so envious. Those that have never done the right and those that have. Of course, now, if you believe in the recycling, then, but in any case, so it does give you access to deeper knowledge, and we see this working out. All right, so number one, you begin to think more deeply about what is to come. Your old perceptions of things seem superficial, and you realize that what you see is only a fraction of what really exists. As a result, you begin to increase your frequency, and your state of consciousness begins to change. Sudden poll. All right, how many of us have changed? Come on, raise your hand. You in the chat room, give me a high five sign on there. Come on. We know this. This is part of it. 2, with the third eye opening, you can see the colors and the light of the day in a very different way. Oh, yeah, baby. How many of you have been like me when you're walking outside, inside? You got to stop. And for me, I have become acutely aware of dimensions of feeling, dimensions of time, perception of movement. Yeah, all the senses are changed. Colors can be seen clear. You can smell strange smells. Many times I'm sitting here in the office during the day, and I keep candles going, but there are sometimes that there's a smell that comes by, and it's delightful. It almost makes me want to cry. It's like, wow. I don't know what spirit that was, but man, come back, baby. I want another part of that. So as a result, you begin to increase your frequency. Your state of consciousness begins, you can also feel or hear things that should not really exist. This almost psychotic experience applies to anyone who accidentally experiences the third eye opening. Now, fortunately on this channel, there's video evidence of it. I've told you back last year in November, things that were happening. I actually heard Indian chanting. Feather, not dot. Yeah. Makes me think that this area at one time had to have settlements of the native, Apache. I'm not sure which particular tribes were through this area. All right. Number 3. If you experience the third eye opening, you feel a headache. How many times have I told you, oh, crap, you've seen it. This is a pressure on your temples. It's also a sign that your pineal gland is developing energetically. So it's starting to change your Kundalini energy even more. And oh, yeah. Yeah. There's also a nice little benefit to it. The libido becomes more stimulated. Reality does not seem to be that real anymore with the third eye opening. This is number 4. If the third eye accidentally opens, you may feel disconnected from the real world. What was I just telling you? You can have this strange feeling as if you live in a dream, as if everything was a lie and nothing else is important. I literally sold my spiritual energy in the pursuit of wealth. Decades. What a fool's game. Lost many a friend. I've changed. I don't care about business opportunities. I don't care about it. It's meaningless. It sucks you dry. And then there's nothing left for you. You reach the end of your life, you're shriveled inside and out because you gave your energy away to others. Number 5, with your third eye opening, you experience a large number of synchronizations and mirror numbers. I swear, folks, they've been studying, they've been in our chat rooms, man. They've been in here watching us. Seriously. Once your third eye is open, you move into a higher state of consciousness. You will understand there are no coincidences, and you begin to notice all the synchronicities that have occurred around you. It's everywhere, folks. I mean, like walking down a state fair on the Midway. You're going to be bombarded by all the smells, the onions and everything else. It's there. Number 6, your third eye opening gives you the ability to literally see the unity of all things. I would say that this one here, in the most recent present, is the one that is beginning to have such profound impact on my thinking. Yeah. With your third eye opening, you have access to higher states of consciousness and consequently to other dimensions. There is no separation between you and the others, between the observer and the observed, the individual and the collective, the creator and the creation. So doing my mirror exercises, I know something's happened to me because this is now, it's like a trigger mechanism. It's opened up something. I see myself, and when I address myself, it's so fluent now. And this is what I say: I am spirit. I am creator. I am one. I am one of many. I am many of one. For me, it's a connection to where I came from. I know this. All right. Number 7, you are increasingly asking about the purpose of your life with the third eye opening. And this is different than those who walk around in their whatever it is, and they struggle to try to figure out, well, why am I here? What's my purpose? Many give up and life no longer has any value. Shame. So many do. I don't think I think wherever they're from, unfortunately, they're from a culture, a race of beings that life has a different meaning, and they haven't adapted to what this physical life is. But that's another conversation. As your third eye awakens, you may feel more distinct, such as the negative energy of your job, relationship, possibly the true intentions of some of your friends and even family members. It's a pretty normal transitional period of your awakening. Many of you have written, and we've shared tears back and forth through the email of how hard that is. Many of you have lost lovers, family members, close relationships. You know, there's that old expression that Paul used. He said, be you not unequally yoked. Deeper than what maybe some even can imagine. Number 8, you know more about what you eat with your third eye opening. With your third eye opening, you're sensitive to toxicity increases, and you now know that even foods are just energy and information. So you're only looking for food that really nourishes you. We haven't talked about this. We've skirted around the edges of it, but that's why eating meat is a problem. So often the meat that you're eating has been traumatized. And when that animal met its death, its fear permeated its being. Now, I'm sure that there are rituals that you can do to cleanse that. I think that in a situation of hunting, you'll see many people go up and thank the spirit of that animal for its sacrifice. And I think that's the right way to do it. But unfortunately, when you're feeding 7.5 billion people, and now they're talking about lab-grown meat, what the hell does that contain? I don't know. But it's something to be. Now, you can raise food, chickens. I raised chickens for many years, rabbits. There is a way that is done, and the transference is one for protein, nutrition. That's why you should always talk to your plants. You should be talking to your seeds right now that you're getting ready to plant this spring. Talk to them. Talk to your food. Today, we cannot control the manufacturing and distribution process of food unless we grow it ourselves. And unfortunately, many can't. So we have to begin to understand that there are ways that we can circumvent this negative energy that is in food. Listen, the majority of food today that is consumed is the reason why people are on diabetic drugs, high blood pressure, heart disease. I can just go on and on and on. It's because of the food. It's been genetically altered. And when you put genetic altered food into you, remember, the physical and the spiritual are always connected. The plant kingdom is connected to the spirit kingdom just as well. Many of you know. In fact, I was watching Susan over at Blue Bottle Bunny Farm. She's talking to her sauerkraut. Yeah, and you should be as well. Should be talking to anything you're putting into you. So look at food that not only nourishes your body, but nourishes your soul, your spirit. Number 9, another sign that your third eye is opening is when you have incredible and clear dreams. The kind of dreams you never forget because you feel that you can control them and you can recognize your true infinite self. These dreams are extremely vivid and you will see them as the world of augmented reality. Many of us had this gift naturally. I did. I had this gift in the Christian circles decades ago. I was known because I was a dreamer. The dreams I had were visions. Number 10, clairaudience is extrasensory ability that you could develop with your third eye opening. You hear inaudible frequencies and hear the words that people never speak because you can tune in and experience those special frequencies. This special ability is called clairaudience. Now, I have that gift, and I think many of you do too. I think it's what many of us are experiencing. I think we're picking up the voices of those of the past. I don't think our voices stop. Now, if those voices are still here, or maybe still being spoken to us. I woke up, no, let me just say, had a dream last night, and I was watching, it was in the desert. No desert that I've ever seen. And I'm watching men in turbans. Didn't even see these type of turbans before. There was a different type of turban. And anyway, they held up for me what I didn't even know what it was, but I knew that what there is a way to activate frequencies by words. I'll just leave it at that. So yeah, how about this? Let me stop here and go back over here. So just curious, we've got 400 plus people in here. How many of you would say after reading that top 10 list that it's happening to you? I'm just curious. You know, you can write in the comment section. I'm looking over in the chat room right now. So give me a second here because I'm not texting and driving. I'm just reading. Could be, Franny. It's an interesting comment. Yeah. So if you are experiencing one, all, some, then welcome to the club, baby. Seriously, it's welcome. You know, it only gets more interesting. It really does. And so many of you already know this. Your life path experiences have been what they have been to lead you to this. Each and every one of us, I am convinced, have seen the future. You know, when I came into this year, I was telling my wife this. I said, something's different. I said, Lynn, something's different. I said, this is exciting. I said, honey, there is this energy. And I haven't experienced it. I don't know. You know, when you're so used to one type of feeling, premonition, you sometimes lose your ability to understand there are other feelings, other premonitions, other states to be. And many of you are finding that out. That's why you write affirmations. That's why you begin to speak, being very careful about what you're speaking out of your mouth. As Brian said, be the frequency you want to be. We're learning these things. And as you begin to learn, you begin to find out that, well, for me, the sensing of the future now is one of great expectations, excitement. I see things now beyond the body, beyond death. It's remarkable, number one, but I think that this is all part of this awakening. The third eye. It was lore, cultural fables, but now many of us are beginning to go, now, wait a minute, something going on here. I'm convinced that back when I was 16 and was being taken out to be sacrificed, murdered, the group that held me, that's what they saw. I think they said they saw a symbol, but I think what they were really seeing was, even then, my third eye was fully active. I was just not aware of it. I think in a lot of it for us, our third eyes have been active and have helped lead us, sometimes in very circuitous routes, but as to bring us here. And I think that's what we're seeing. And when we talk about, cutting the cord, there was an expression I had back in my religion days, was that, unless you hate your life, then, and lose your life, you'll never gain your life. It's one of those paradoxical, philosophies, but most religions are replete with it. And it's so true. When you get to that point in your life where, listen, I can't be bribed with money, can't be bribed with sex, can't be bribed with wealth, because you get to a point in your life where you realize there's nothing you have to begin with. That's all so fleeting. In fact, it's more cords that are going to hold you down. Hold you down, in fact, upon your death. Those cords most likely hold you here. But if you go with the attitude, I don't care for this life, yeah, it's been fine, but that's not life. I have much more to experience. And this is not the only reality. This is a planet in a spiral of a mid-sized galaxy in a universe that we can't actually measure. And this universe is not of itself or by itself. And so to think that this is only the reality for whatever, for infinity, going to be here? No, baby. This cowboy, when my ticket is called, watch out, because it's giddy up time. That's all I got to say. Yeah, I see what you said, Gilbert. Yeah, you know what? But there's a separation taking place, my friends. I think the religious minds tried to hijack. They saw it. Their seers saw it. I think other cultures of times past have seen it as well. I don't think that this is the first time, but this is the time. And there's no more waiting. This is the time. And we're going to see a more and more distinction of the line. You're going to see it. It's going to get so to the point where many of you are going to be in restaurants. Many of you are going to be at your desk, your jobs. And you're just going to get to the point where you say, fuck it. Yeah, I used the F-bomb. Many of you are already there. And you want to make your days count for something. If anything, to count for yourself. You know, many will try to say, well, that's so narcissistic. You know, it's humanism. No, it's just being a spirit. And none of us like the idea to have to work. But then again, idleness is something that so easily deceives and deludes so many. And that's worse. People who become idle become a problem. They're undisciplined, plain and simple. An undisciplined mind is a dangerous thing. And I think in many cases, we're here to discipline our spirits as well. And self-discipline is, well, you see it. You can see it in the difference of people. Now, if you come into my desk, it looks like looks like there's about 80 different professors that are working in here. But that's okay, because outside my office, my world is always one that is of discipline and order. We love routines. And I'm talking about chords now, folks. I haven't deviated from that. So for me, through the 23,000 days plus I have been on this planet in this cycle, I found within myself that there is certain self-disciplines, just naturally there. Now, there's others who believe that they take the fourth state of matter, conservation of energy. And that's cool too, you know. But again, it's when you step back, you can see the individual spirits. They're just so beautiful. I guess I wish so many people would just understand. It's not about a political belief. It's not about a religious belief. It's not about a cultural belief. No. It's in the belief that we're immersed here. We have so many beautiful spirits around us, so much that we can learn from each of them, but we allow petty differences to divide us. We allow the little bigotries that become great walls of divide. And what a shame. You know, when we all die, we all die. I don't want to have that spirit that recognizes me and says, oh, so you were that jerk. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be responsible for sending another spirit to the other side sad. And this goes beyond religion. It goes beyond love. You know, the thing is, most people don't know how to love. Love is an idiom that is so transferable, it has no meaning to it. And thus, we have to find another way to express the ability to feel one another. I think that's the most amazing thing about these bodies is that it gives us the tactile ability to feel. And then we have this unique ability with our spirits to feel this thing, love, compassion, sadness, betrayal, anger, regret. It's as diverse as it is our ability to feel in any part of our body. And I think so often that's where the confusion so often overwhelms us. We're never taught as children how to be spiritually minded, how to be spiritually disciplined outside of religious contexts. And so children, subsequently adults, go through their whole lives never truly understanding how to connect to their spirit, and understanding that they are a spirit. But I think this is how we do it, folks. Many of us in this room hearing my voice this year, I'm telling you right now, your psychic abilities are going to grow exponentially. And this is the time now to start disciplining yourself, because you remember, even as an apprentice is with a master magician, the apprentice may know the formula, but does not know how to administer. And that's where so many fail. So it's cutting cords. It's there. Yeah. So that's why I invoke favor on your life. That's why I speak favor into your life. Full restoration. You know, that full restoration, once we get it into our nomenclature and we begin to have this opportunity, it changes us. I get the emails. Many of you are already seeing it happening in your lives. And many of us have struggled. How many of us have struggled emotionally? How many of us were emotionally damaged at a very early age? How many of us have been separated almost from the beginning of our path journeys from families? Always finding that the relationships were one of more fear because of the potential hurt. And it drove many of us within us, trying to build the walls to protect us. And we went through life. And many of us who took the chance to let the boundaries done, we found nothing but betrayal. But that's the thing, folks. You know, a disciplined spirit sees it as for what it was, an interaction with another spirit that you have to not become the victim, but become the victor of the circumstance. And it's not that we become cold. It's not that we become indifferent. It's just that with wisdom, you begin to understand knowledge. It cuts both ways. The door swings both ways. And we take it for the experience that we've had here. We process it. Some of us handle it badly. Some of us handle it okay. And some handle it admirably. But as we continue to progress, the thing is we got to change. How many of you find yourselves having your discussion amongst yourself like I used to be in politics? And if I'm out somewhere and they may have the news on and I'm seeing it, I can now immediately feel that energy. And what I do immediately now, the spirit, I am spirit. I rebuff it. I don't need it. If you've taken hermetics and the hermetical laws and principles and applied them to your life, you see how you can transmute that, polarize, cause and effect, frequency, correspondence, mentalism, gender. We were going to do some reading today, but some guy came in here and started talking. But you know, folks, it really is sometimes just that simple. We get it complicated because it can get complicated real quick. But hey, this community is strong. It's growing. I got people, I tell you folks, get the emails. New people who subscribed and come in here. They know that we're on every day at 2 p.m. Eastern, noon Mountain Time. And they write me, they said, those people talking about y'all, not me, y'all. They said they're so full of love. They care. Yeah, I said it's a great group of people. Love every one of them. Don't tell them that, but value them. And I do value each and every one of you. So, you know what, Lois? We'll get you on here. I'll tell you what, I may be writing you. Okay? See about getting you on. Tell your story. Love, people need to hear it. And folks, that's what we can do. Come on and tell your story. You know, it used to be a thing when I was in the Christian religion that, you used to have those, I think we had ours on Sunday night. They were testimony meetings. People getting up testifying what the Lord did for them. Well, what they never realized is what they did for themselves. They never stopped and calculated how much it takes for a prayer to be answered. But the fact is that we should have testimony night. People coming on and telling us your story, telling us your victory story. There's enough fear out there. Plenty of that going, and a lot of channels that got the fear going on. I want this one to be here where people say, this is where I got victory. This is where I found the strength. This is what's changed my life. That's what this channel does, along with the journey, philosophy, science, preparing for departure. And I hope that each and every one of us get to not only, hear me out on this, not go first class, but each and every one of you have your private vessel. So that when you take off from here, you're going to arrive in style on the other side. Yeah, because folks, we're not going to take the chance of having other spirits on the other side take care of us. I don't know if you want to risk that. That's why they got religion. Takes that away. But no, you're going to experience it by yourself. So you, darling, you beautiful thing, you beautiful spirit, will be facing it by yourself. But if we can, again, if consciousness is transcendent to the next plane, then let's make this the most prominent memory we have as we depart. All right, folks, see me over on Brian's channel, Milky Way Weekly. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you. Thank you for enriching my life. I mean, I enjoy this. It's beautiful. All of you are. And I just thank you so much. There's the old expression, freely you have received, freely give. And that's what I do here. Just give. I found out decades ago, it's the coolest thing to do. Even when you don't have two nickels to rub together, you can give. And it's that kind of giving that really comes out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so we just take it that we give into each other. And I'll tell you, you do that, the universe will provide you for everything you need. Food, love, companionship, homes, shelter, cars. There's no lack of it. All right, folks, appreciate you. We will see you later on. I appreciate you folks. I really do. Tomorrow we'll get into it. We're going to get Patrick the week off. We'll see him next Tuesday talking with planets. I saw some of the questions earlier, and there's some that I have as well. So we just again send healing to Patrick. Thank you all, each and every one of you. Love yourselves, and you will find out that others will become lovable to you. All right, folks. Bye-bye. Appreciate you. Thank you.